Our MC reflects on his life, describing it as the lowest order on Earth. The sky is always gloomy, rain never seems to stop, and insects attack throughout the year. In the rain, the MC climbs a staircase, completely drenched, moving steadily upward. Inside a room, a small boy removes a large metal chest blocking the gate and opens the door. He finds the MC standing there. The MC casually comments on being left outside. The boy responds with irritation, complaining about how long it took and mentioning he's starving. The MC hands him food, which instantly cheers the boy up. He excitedly suggests they eat together. As he unwraps the food, he discovers mooncakes and apples. His eyes light up with joy. One of the mooncakes slips and falls to the ground. The MC picks it up and reminds the boy not to waste them, saying these aren't treats one can eat every day and that he worked hard to get them. While enjoying the meal, the boy expresses his excitement, calling the Mid-Autumn Festival awesome. The MC, watching him eat, tells him to slow down, assuring him no one will steal the food. With that, he begins to change out of his wet clothes. Noticing the injuries on the MC's body, the boy becomes concerned and offers to get some medicine. But the MC declines, saying he'll take care of it himself. He advises the boy to sleep early after eating, warning him that people might bully him if he remains short. The boy teasingly asks if the MC would be the one bullying him. The MC gently places a hand on his head and reminds him that he won't be around forever. He jokingly offers to kick the boy out if he doesn't believe him. Pretending to be upset, the boy says that if he were going to be kicked out, he'd have preferred it earlier, just so he wouldn't have to see the MC's ugly face. The MC responds with a light smack on the boy's head, calling him a brat and telling him to get lost. The boy then brings up something the MC had once said, that eating mooncakes would let them see the moon, but he wonders why he can't see it. The MC promises to take him to see the moon someday, but says that for now, he's lost in thought. Still curious, the boy admits he doesn't even know what the moon looks like. The MC tells him to imagine a mooncake hovering above his head. The boy isn't convinced and accuses him of lying, saying he won't be fooled again. After some time, the boy falls asleep peacefully. The MC sits silently, gazing at a system window. He observes that the system is still empty, though the startup has changed. A message appears, stating that the host, Su Qiangzhou, hasn't yet reached 100%. The killer flame arts remains locked. Reading this, the MC notes that 3% is still missing. He decides to check it again tomorrow. 2 hours earlier, a man stood before the MC, scolding him and reminding him of the money spent just to be there. The MC silently told himself to endure it. The man mocked him further, saying the agent was right. He truly could take a beating. Sitting on the side, Agent Pitao watched the fight unfold, remarking that the money spent today was well worth it. Suddenly, the man launched himself at the MC, delivering a harsh kick that sent him crashing into the wall. The referee immediately announced the end of the match, but the man protested, saying he hadn't had enough yet. The referee firmly stated that the match was over and declared that the MC was no longer able to continue. The man then demanded that the MC return to fight again the next day. The audience began to cheer for the victorious fighter, questioning whether his opponent was even still alive. Looking up weakly, the MC thought to himself that he was still hanging in there. Pitao, watching the scene, voiced his growing impatience with the current leveling speed. After the match, the MC, whose name is Qiangzi, went to the washroom to wash his face. Guan Yunqi approached him and asked if he was okay. Qiangzi replied that he was. Guan Yunqi informed him that the payment had already been sent to his account and advised him to take the next day off. Qiangzi didn't respond and quietly walked away. In the present time, Qiangzi gently placed a candy in the hand of his sleeping younger brother. Watching over him, he thought to himself that it wouldn't be long now. Meanwhile, Guan Yunqi received a call on his phone. It was from Qiangzi. Answering the call, Guan Yunqi asked if there was a meeting needed, then reacted with shock upon hearing that Qiangzi wanted to fight again that same day. He asked if Qiangzi was trying to get himself killed. Qiangzi responded that he had already been enduring beatings for 3 years. If he truly wanted to die, he would have done so by now. He pleaded for another arrangement. Guan Yunqi agreed, saying they never refused a fight as long as both sides were willing. He also noted that he could earn some money from it. He told Qiangzi to prepare himself and promised to work out a deal right away. Qiangzi thanked him. Julie spoke to Guan, expressing her surprise at how hard Qiang was working. She mentioned seeing him earlier and doubted he would survive. Guan admitted he was also worried. The Yukai warrior from the previous match had been too brutal, refusing to stop his attacks. Qiang was lucky to still be alive. Julie observed that Qiang clearly needed the money, but wondered if he valued his life at all. Guan explained that Qiang wanted to enter the Second Order. For that, he needed more money to join the competition. However, his current winnings weren't enough. Julie was stunned. She pointed out that the competition to enter the Second Order required 1 million. No one even knew Qiang's current level. If he skipped the rank registration, the fee would double. She questioned how much more suffering he was willing to endure. Even if he successfully registered, he would still need strength to win. Most of the Second Order resources were already monopolized by consortiums. Without any backing, advancement would be nearly impossible. Guan admitted that even after knowing Qiang for so long, he still couldn't figure out his exact rank. Later, Qiang was seen exercising with his younger brother. The boy asked him to spend the day with him. Qiang refused. That night, as he prepared to leave, he told his brother to stay home. He promised that if he returned safely, they would play games together. The younger brother warned him not to break his promise and said he would be waiting. As Chiang walked away, he reflected on his killer flame skill, which had already reached 97%. Whether it succeeded or failed would depend on tonight. He decided not to overthink it. Though his body was still unwell, he planned to have a drink before continuing. Chiang entered a night cafe and asked for a glass of vodka. A woman placed the drink before him and asked if he had a fight scheduled. Chiang confirmed it was set for tonight. She observed him silently. He was different from the others. Always quiet, always alone, showing no change in his expression. He came in daily, had his drink, and left without looking back. Meanwhile, a news report played on the nearby TV. It warned that solar particles had been affecting the area in recent days. Insect creatures were attacking areas outside the First Order. Citizens were advised to stay alert, avoid being alone, and not spend time in basements or lower floors for extended periods. The woman turned to another customer, Sui, offering him a taste of their new products. Suddenly, Sui grabbed her hat. She told him to stop and return it. He ignored her and insisted she have a drink with him, claiming to be especially lucky that day. She refused, saying she was still working. Sui pushed further, insisting she shouldn't be shy and that it was an honor to drink with him. He added that even if the Heavens boss showed up, she would still have to drink with him. He grabbed her wrist tightly as she pleaded to be let go. He demanded that she drink with him first, promising to release her afterward. At that moment, Chiang intervened and offered to accompany Sui instead. Sui snapped back, insulting Chiang and threatening him with a beating. Chiang challenged him in return. Sui mocked Chiang's challenge, claiming he would level up tonight. Chiang dared him to try. Sui threw a punch at Chiang, who raised his hands and blocked the attack. As Sui prepared to throw another punch at Chiang, he was suddenly struck in the face with a vodka glass. Chiang followed it up with a powerful kick to Sui's stomach, sending him crashing backward. The lady nearby was startled, and the surrounding crowd reacted with surprise, recognizing the man as Brother Chiang. The woman watched closely, thinking that while the classic hero saves the beauty scene felt outdated, this man's strength was undeniable. She considered forming a connection with him, believing it might benefit her. To diffuse the tension, a man stepped forward and urged everyone to continue drinking and enjoying themselves. He promised an impressive bartending show to lighten the mood. Another man began the bartending performance, which caught the crowd's attention and was well received. Taking advantage of the distraction, the first man whispered to a guard to drag Chiang out quietly during the performance. Meanwhile, inside a moving car, Yukai, the fighter who had previously lost to Chiang, was on a call. He questioned why he was being contacted. On the other end, Manager P informed him that Boss Du was concerned about his slow leveling progress this season. Pai admitted he was worried as well. Yukai responded angrily, asking if they doubted his abilities. Manager Pai quickly denied it, suggesting instead that a change in training methods might be helpful. He reminded Yukai that they had selected the most resilient fighter as his sparring partner. He also mentioned that without Dismissal Wei's intervention the previous day, that fighter would have died. Manager Pai instructed Yukai to go all out in today's match and promised to handle any aftermath. He also shared that Boss Du had prepared new shoes and gloves, which he would deliver soon, and believed Yukai would like them. Privately, Manager Pai felt excited about the upcoming events. But he warned Yukai that Boss Du Butian of the Kuguang organization had high expectations. If Yukai failed to level up as planned, he might be disqualified. P reminded him that even becoming a sparring partner wouldn't cover the liquidated damages, putting the pressure entirely on Yukai. Frustrated, Yukai threw his phone down in anger. Back at the arena, Boss Jiang arrived and questioned what was going on. One of the men asked him to allow filming, offering a 50% share. Jiang explained that new rules under the management system didn't allow filming, and noted that even the audience had been asked to leave. The man persisted, saying he had heard there would be a spectacular show today and believed the footage could fetch a high price on the black market. He suggested they could profit together. Jiang considered the offer and agreed to a 70% share in exchange for his cooperation. The man accepted, praising Jiang's decision. On the other side, Guan was lost in thought, feeling uneasy about today's match. He acknowledged that Su Changzhou was the toughest sparring partner, and his price was the highest, but something didn't sit right with him. Manager Pai approached Guan, commenting that Guan was going to earn big once again. He mentioned that it had been 3 years since Guan signed Brother Resistance. Guan snapped back, asking how that was relevant to him. Pai laughed, saying it wasn't, but admitted he was eager to see what kind of expression Guan would make when Chiang finally fell. Guan asked what he meant, but Pai brushed it off, saying he had to handle the agreement and would see him later. Immediately after, Guan called Chiang to check his location. Chiang confirmed that he had already arrived. After Chiang arrived, Guan warned him that the Wanderer Warrior was going to hit him hard today. He advised Chiang to withdraw and save his strength for a longer run. But Chiang demanded the agreement instead. Guan handed it over, while reminding him one last time to give up on the match. He said the agreement could be changed and that he only hoped nothing bad would happen to Chiang, since he was his biggest money earner. Chiang signed the agreement without hesitation and began walking toward the arena. The woman beside Guan scoffed, remarking how even someone who takes beatings could still show off. The match soon began. Yukai entered the arena, and seeing him, Guan thought that he didn't come to level up. he came to kill. The referee warned Yukai that wearing weapons was against the rules. In response, Yukai threatened to test the rule directly on the referee, intimidating him into silence. Chiang then stepped into the arena. Yukai approached him and reminded him that the agreement had a surrender clause, but he was certain Chiang wouldn't have time to use it. Chiang replied confidently, challenging him to try. The match officially started. As Yukai charged forward to punch, Chiang didn't dodge. He thought to himself that he needed to level up quickly and chose to block the strike with his hands. Watching this, Guan realized that the punch could have half-killed a tiger. The screen displayed that Wanderer Warrior's rank 2 combat ability had increased to 65%. Manager P, watching with satisfaction, noted that the gift Du Butian gave was proving useful. Yukai followed up with a kick to Chiang's stomach, sending him flying backward. Guan, watching this, accused Yukai of cheating, convinced that he couldn't be that powerful. But Chiang stood back up. The screen now showed Wanderer Warrior's combat ability had increased to 70%. The audience reacted with disbelief, amazed that just one kick had caused a 5% boost. They began to recognize Chiang's resilience. Chiang remarked that Yukai didn't seem all that strong. Yukai, impressed by Chiang's toughness, admitted he enjoyed beating opponents like him the most. He rushed forward, grabbed Chiang, and despite Chiang's attempts to break free, lifted him up and slammed him hard onto the ground. After that, Yukai mocked him, saying he hadn't died yet and that he wasn't finished. The crowd looked at Chiang in awe, wondering if he was made of metal, questioning how he was still standing after such brutal hits. Guan, still in shock, couldn't understand how Chiang, who was once so weak, was now enduring these powerful attacks without dodging or fighting back, yet still able to rise. The scene shifts to 3 years ago, where Chiang desperately pleads with Guan to let him try again. Guan warns him that his body is too weak and expresses concern that he won't survive the round. Chiang insists, taking full responsibility for his life and requesting arrangements to be made. Guan reminds him that if he dies, he won't be responsible for anything, not even for Chiang's younger brother. Chiang replies that he understands. Guan questions his insistence, and Chiang explains that without a chance, it would be no different from dying. Back in the present, Yukai throws punches at Chiang, who blocks them with his forearms. Watching this, Guan begins to wonder if something has changed. The referee steps in, announcing that Yukai has already increased his combat ability by 30%, and according to the rules, the match must now end. Yukai protests, arguing that he hasn't yet reached 100%. The referee refuses, stating it's unfair for the spar partner and violates the agreement. Angrily, Yukai grabs the referee by the collar and accuses him of being an obstacle to his leveling up. He then hurls the referee away. Looking up at Manager P, Yukai receives a signal to begin his performance. Encouraged, he draws a blade from his hand and charges at Chiang, blaming him for his own misfortune. As the blade nears Chiang, Guan is shocked. Chiang tries to stop it with his hand, but the blade pierces through his palm. At that moment, a system window appears before Chiang, showing that the progress has reached 98%. Yukai lands a punch on Chiang's stomach. Chiang, determined, mutters that he is just one step away. Yukai then kicks Chiang again in the stomach, stating he won't forget him. As he jumps up to deliver a final attack, a sharp object erupts from beneath the ground, impaling Yukai through the abdomen. Panic spreads as the crowd runs, shouting that it's an insect invasion and they're under attack. Guan concludes that the earlier commotion must have attracted the creature and urges everyone to evacuate quickly. The girl beside Guan is horrified, recognizing it as a 2 rank 3 berserk tiger beetle. She points out that the specially reinforced arena floor has been destroyed, and now there's no way to escape. The massive insect moves toward Chiang and attacks, but Chiang catches it with his bare hand. The system notifies Chiang that the host kill fire tower dynamic value has reached 100%. Chiang, filled with resolve, declares that after such a long wait, he can finally test its power. Chiang continued battling the insect, wondering if the attack of a rank 3 tiger beetle was really this weak. With that thought, he broke off the beetle's horn effortlessly. Meanwhile, Guan was stunned. The massive movement caused by the rank 3 tiger beetle made him suspect that Su Qiangzhou in the area might have already died. But the commotion seemed larger. Someone was possibly fighting against rank 4 tiger beetles. Chiang then used his dagger and finished off the beetle with a single strike. A man nearby panicked, shouting that survival was more important than money. Guan was shocked to see the tiger beetle killed. He questioned who the person was and began to wonder about Su Qiangzhou's whereabouts. He thought that maybe the entire fight had been recorded. A short while later, Chiang was shown waking up at home. His younger brother, Brat, sat beside him and expressed relief that he was finally awake. Chiang asked how long he had been unconscious. Brat informed him that it had been about 20 hours. He had passed out immediately upon arriving home, and Brat was the one who treated his wounds. Chiang realized he had barely survived. He asked Brat if he even knew how to bandage properly. Brat proudly replied that he had taken care of him for an entire day and was now hungry, asking if Chiang still wasn't satisfied. Chiang muttered that Brat only knew how to eat and that he had nearly died in battle. Brat replied confidently, saying Chiang would never die because he was invincible. Then teasingly, Brat asked if Chiang could still bully him in his current state and demanded food. Chiang told him to stop and promised to buy food. As Chiang stepped outside the house, he was stopped by Guan. Chiang questioned Guan's presence. Guan said he had been waiting for Chiang but didn't want to disturb his rest. He had also brought some food. Chiang said he would take the supplies upstairs first and suggested they talk somewhere else. Later, at a different place, Chiang asked Guan why he had come. Guan explained that the Wanderer warrior had died the previous day. Negotiations about the money were ongoing, so Chiang would receive his payment later. Chiang urged him to speed things up, explaining that he needed money urgently. Guan promised to handle it as quickly as possible. Chiang began to leave, saying that if nothing else remained, he would take his leave. Guan stopped him and asked if he was the one who had killed the two berserk tiger beetles. Chiang asked what he meant by that. Guan explained that sparring partners existed to support others in leveling up in exchange for financial aid. As others defeated them, they advanced to higher ranked areas. While the warriors and the consortium gained major benefits, sparring partners risked their lives for only a small reward. Chiang asked if there was anything wrong with that system. Guan questioned why someone with Chiang's power still chose to remain a sparring partner. Becoming a warrior would allow him to earn more and advance faster. Chiang replied that it was his choice. Guan mentioned that he had observed something unusual the previous day. Normally, Wanderer warriors level up by defeating others. But Chiang was leveling up by being defeated. It was the first time he had seen such a method. When the tiger beetles appeared, both Chiang and the Wanderer warrior were in danger. Yet only the Wanderer warrior died. Chiang had survived, and the tiger beetles were killed. The weapon used appeared to be part of the beetle's body. That required enormous strength. Chiang's recovery speed was also far beyond normal. Although Guan couldn't determine Chiang's exact level, he believed Chiang had outgrown the rank 1 area and had no opponents left there. Chiang urged him to come to the point. Guan offered him a proposal. With his strength, Chiang could become a warrior, earn better income, and rank up. They could also explore a new kind of partnership. Chiang said he would think about it and began to walk away. Guan stated he would wait for his answer. Watching him leave, Guan thought that even after all these years, he still couldn't understand what Chiang was really thinking. Chiang sat in a cafe where a news broadcast played on the TV. It reported that boss-rank mutated worms had recently appeared in many locations. The elite teams from the relevant department had been dispatched to eliminate them, and citizens were advised not to panic. A girl named Lumi approached Chiang, noticing his wounds. She offered him some medicine, suggesting he take it back and try it. Chiang asked for her name and she introduced herself as Lumi. Soon, a man walked over and brought up the recent incident. He mentioned hearing about the tiger beetles invading the arena. Chiang confirmed it. The man continued, saying he heard someone had instantly killed all the beetles. Chiang responded that if he hadn't escaped early, he might have died there. The man pointed out that the warrior had been killed. The tiger beetles had been wiped out instantly, and Chiang was the only one who survived. He remarked that escaping quickly was a skill too, and called Chiang lucky. Getting closer, the man asked if Chiang had heard about the Green Judge Rock's red-tail scorpion. Chiang said he hadn't. The man encouraged Chiang to fight high-level monsters to level up quickly. He handed him something that could be useful in critical moments, claiming it was stronger than Lumi's medicine. Chiang thanked him. Meanwhile, the leader of the Tiger Roar team named Yang addressed his squad. He reminded them of the intense training they had undergone. It had been tough but necessary to defeat a powerful enemy. A rank 5 butterfly had already annihilated 5 teams. He believed they could defeat it. As the leader, he raised a cup, declaring that one Tiger Roar should shock all areas and spread news throughout. The team responded with a cheer. Lumi, standing among them, felt excited. She believed that by following the team and helping kill the butterfly, she could earn money to level up. She glanced at Chiang and thought about how he always came and went. She wished he would join them in killing the butterfly. Elsewhere, Chiang reflected on what Bar's boss Liao had said. He agreed that it was time to test Killfire Tower's power on a high-rank insect. But to do that, he needed to apply for qualification. He also had to care for his little brother. Arriving at his secret base, Chiang began analyzing the rank 5 butterfly that the Tiger Roar team had mentioned. The space was too small, and he realized he needed a bigger base. He recalled hearing at the bar that other teams had fought rank 5 butterflies before. He searched for information on intermediate rank 5 insects. One team was already engaged in a tough battle. He checked details about the Tiger Roar team and tried to simulate a scenario using Killfire Tower. The system showed that their success rate was only 5%. Chiang considered what the odds would be if he joined the battle. There were too many uncertain factors. He decided to abandon the idea of participating in such a difficult fight. He would continue with his original plan. Heading to his garage, he approached a car and addressed it as an old friend. With Killfire Tower now activated, he could finally drive it again. Later, Chiang returned home. His younger brother greeted him, asking what delicious food he had brought after being out for half the day. Chiang told him that if he hadn't taken the day to rest, he wouldn't have returned so early. He called his brother a glutton and said raising him was a burden. His brother replied that he was still growing and needed to eat well to grow taller. Chiang handed him food and told him to eat quickly without any delay. Seeing the food, his brother lit up with happiness. Just then, someone knocked on the gate. It was Lumi. Seeing her there, Chiang wondered why she had come. Chiang asked Lumi how she knew where he lived. Lumi reminded him that the bar functioned as a database, though his place was like a maze and took her a long time to find. Chiang thought about the inconvenience and considered changing locations. Lumi teased him, wondering if he didn't welcome her. At that moment, Chiang's little brother commented that the girl looked really pretty and asked if Chiang wouldn't invite her inside. Chiang then invited Lumi in. The brat turned to Lumi and asked why she had come to see his brother. Lumi guessed he must be Chiang's younger brother. He confirmed it, introducing himself as Su Yang Yang, but said she could just call him Yang Yang. Lumi told him to call her sister Lumi and mentioned she always wished she had a little brother. Happy with this, the brat offered to become her little brother from now on. Chiang gave the brat a light punch on the head and asked if he had finished eating. The brat replied that he had finished long ago. Lumi handed Chiang the medicine, saying he had forgotten it at the bar and she brought it over. Chiang admitted he left in a hurry and forgot it, but claimed he was already fine. Lumi silently noted how straightforward he was. Lumi noticed the brat crafting something out of paper and praised him for his skills. The brat explained that since his brother wasn't home often, he made these paper figures to be his companions. Lumi told him she also knew how to make them and offered to create one for him. The brat was excited, calling her both pretty and kind. Chiang observed them and thought to himself how the kid would say anything just to get someone to play with him. He wondered how they were even real brothers. Lumi then made a paper strawberry for the brat, who became extremely happy and said it had been a long time since he last ate one, and now he was practically drooling. Chiang noted to himself that strawberries were hard to find in Area 1 and wondered where he could possibly get them if the brat wanted to eat. As it got late, Lumi said she would leave. The brat quickly asked when she would come again. Lumi replied that she didn't know. The brat then joked that since Chiang didn't have a girlfriend, she could come see him every day. Chiang quickly covered his brother's mouth and told him to stop talking nonsense. Chiang apologized to Lumi, saying his little brother was still young and spoke whatever came to mind. He thanked her for bringing the medicine. Lumi blushed and then shared that she would be joining the Tiger Roar team to hunt the rank S butterfly. Chiang was surprised and asked if she was really going with them. Lumi revealed that she was originally a member of the Tiger Roar team. Chiang realized she had been hiding her true strength. Lumi explained that she was originally from Area 2 but had been pushed down. She wanted to use this chance to return. Chiang expressed concern, saying the boss-level enemy was powerful and worried for the team's safety. Lumi admitted she couldn't face a high-rank insect on her own. Without support from a business group, this mission with a large team was her best shot to earn money and rank up. Chiang wished her good luck. Lumi mentioned that the estimated reward for this boss was 18, and the rank-up speed would be fast. She asked if Chiang wanted to join. He politely declined, and told her he wasn't going. Lumi thought to herself that she had originally wanted to invite Chiang to join the mission. The reward was an attractive 1 billion, yet he rejected it without even thinking. She wondered if it meant he didn't lack money. After Lumi left, the brat asked Chiang if Sister Lumi would be in danger. Chiang replied that it was likely. The brat questioned why Chiang wasn't going along with her to protect her. Chiang pulled his cheek and teased him, asking since when he started caring so much about others. Meanwhile, Lumi walked outside, wondering why someone as strong as Chiang was hiding his true power. Suddenly, it started to rain. At the same time, many people began running in fear from rank 3 fleas. Just then, Chiang arrived with his sword, hoping the situation would help him level up. He charged toward one of the fleas, declaring it would be the first to die, and swiftly killed it with his sword, noting it was too slow. Another flea came at him from behind, but he dodged just in time. However, the flea quickly circled around to strike again. Chiang moved away at the perfect moment, noticing how well the two beasts were working together. The two fleas surrounded Chiang from both sides, leaving him in the middle. Chiang felt the difficulty of the game had increased and found it exciting. He attacked one flea, then moved toward the second and finished it with a clean strike, feeling it was a pity the work ended so quickly. Later that evening, Chiang was seen sitting on top of the tower clock, thinking back to the time he unlocked Killfire Tower. He was curious to see what was inside. While looking at his system, he realized that although the store had many items, he could only afford very few. To buy more, he would need to increase his EXP further. The system then notified him that he had killed 2 rank 3 fleas and earned 10,000 yuan, asking if he wished to receive the reward. Chiang reflected that killing low-level insects yielded too little XP and money. At this pace, ranking up would take forever. With insect invasions happening more often, even rank 1 areas were no longer safe. Both he and the brat needed to rank up quickly so they could meet her again sooner. He realized he had no choice but to take the risk. Guan received a sudden call from Manager Pai. Picking it up, he asked why Manager Pai had contacted him so unexpectedly. Manager Pai explained that after the incident with the Wanderer Warrior, the Lugang organization's boss had taken notice and wanted to meet Su Qiangzhou. He asked Guan to arrange the meeting, offering spar match money as compensation. Guan firmly replied that Chiang no longer worked as a sparring partner. He reminded Manager P that the Wanderer Warrior was killed by the Tiger Beetle and that it had nothing to do with Su Qiangzhou. Manager P insisted that Chiang was simply lucky and revealed that Boss Du had high expectations for him and wanted to sign a contract. Annoyed, Guan accused them of trying to recruit his people, calling Chiang his money tree. He felt insulted that they expected him to do it for just 50,000 and asked if they were looking down on him. Manager Pai then offered to use his highest authority and promised a full million if the matter succeeded. He stressed their sincerity and warned not to offend Boss Du, who had a bad temper. Guan agreed to consider it. After ending the call, he turned to Chiang, saying he was just about to look for him. Chiang replied with curiosity, wondering if it was about the same matter. Guan informed him that the Lu Guang organization wanted to sign him, believing it to be a great opportunity. Chiang asked if it was the same organization the Wanderer Warrior belonged to. Guan confirmed it and added that they were wealthy and could support Chiang greatly. Chiang silently reflected that the Lu Guang organization used sparring and injected medicine to force rank-ups. They used money to push people into higher-ranked areas and profited endlessly from spar matches. Eventually, they discarded those with real power. While the warriors received rank-up chances and huge rewards, Chiang doubted what kind of monsters they eventually became. He knew he couldn't agree to it. Guan admitted honestly that he would earn $1 million if the recommendation went through, but needed Chiang's final answer. Chiang interrupted him, offering $5 million instead for a favor. Surprised, Guan asked if he was serious and whether he truly had that much money. Chiang laid out 2 conditions. First, he would pay $500,000 up front and the rest after returning. Second, Guan had to take care of his little brother for a week, ensuring his complete safety during that time. Guan understood then that there was no easy money. Chiang said that's exactly why he was paying him so much. Guan questioned what would happen if he refused. Chiang admitted Guan was the only friend he trusted. Guan rejected the emotional appeal, calling himself a businessman. He agreed to the first condition but pointed out that the second was tough due to the dangerous state of things. He also reminded Chiang that rejecting the Lu Guang organization could bring trouble and demanded the amount be increased to $10 million. Chiang agreed to the deal. Guan thought to himself that there was no turning back now. He then asked Chiang which kill qualification he wanted to apply for. Chiang replied that it was rank 5 butterfly. At home, the brat asked Chiang if he had agreed to go with Sister Lumi. Chiang confirmed it. The brat cheered happily, feeling glad that Sister Lumi would now have protection. Chiang scolded him for only caring about others and never about his big brother. The brat replied that he didn't need to worry about him because Chiang was immortal. He reminded Chiang to bring the strawberry treat Sister had made, saying he needed it to quench his desires. Chiang told him to get it himself. After packing his bag, the brat declared it was time to go. Chiang informed him that he would be gone for a while and that from now on, he had to stay at Brother Guan Yun's house and behave well. The brat agreed, saying he understood. As they prepared to leave, the brat expressed his joy. After 2 years, he was finally getting the chance to go out again, and he couldn't contain his excitement. After arriving at Guan's house, Chiang sternly warned his little brother to stay inside and not leave unless he saw him. He threatened not to spare him if he disobeyed. The brat casually agreed, telling him not to nag and to just leave already. As Chiang walked away, he thought to himself that he needed to wrap this matter up quickly. He then got into his car and drove off. Inside the house, the brat questioned Guan about the tightly sealed windows, wondering if he was afraid of him escaping. Guan replied that it was done for his safety. The brat complained that he had just gotten rid of his brother, only to be locked up like a dog again. He grumbled about how tough his life was. Guan made it clear that his current mission was to ensure the brat's safety. But first, he had to ensure his own. The brat then asked why Guan hadn't sealed his own windows. Guan explained that no one posed a threat to him yet since he knew martial arts. The brat shouted at Guan, accusing him of treating him like a 3-year-old. He begged to be taken out to play. Guan rejected the idea immediately, stating that he didn't want the boy's brother causing him any trouble. Later, a woman approached Guan and informed him that the boy had been playing for over an hour. Guan responded sharply, saying he didn't need reminders. He regretted not demanding more money from Su Changzhou. Now he was forced to spend his own money to recruit 3 warriors for protection. He wondered if Su Changzhou would compensate for these added costs. As the brat continued to play, he called out to Guan to push him faster, complaining the speed was too slow. Guan thought to himself that this was the worst decision of his life. He then walked over and started pushing the brat. The boy cheered with excitement, declaring that Brother Guanqi was 100, 1,000, no, 10,000 times better than Su Qiang. Watching from a distance, the woman thought to herself how unusual it was to see manager Guan, who never even smiled, being influenced by the kid. Despite working together for many years, she had never heard Guan mention anything about his family. She wondered where his family members were. Meanwhile, the Tiger Roar team vehicles were seen heading toward their destination. Inside one of the vehicles, a team member informed leader Yang that they were fully equipped this time and that taking down the rank 5 butterfly should be easy. He added that previous teams had already exhausted it, increasing their chances of success and the potential for great loot. Another member warned everyone to stay alert and not get careless, reminding them that the creature had already annihilated 5 teams. The first man dismissed the worry, saying they wouldn't be scared. The second man added that after this battle, they'd be able to enjoy life for a while with the money they earned. While driving, one of the men turned to Lumi and commented on how cool team leader Yang looked each time, admiring his strength and fearlessness. Lumi responded, noting that at their current speed, they would reach Kuyua Mountain in about 3 more hours. She silently thought to herself that even though he had rejected her, she had known he wouldn't come. Yet, deep down, she still wished he would have joined them. Suddenly, a voice came through the call, asking the Tiger Roar team to respond if they could hear. One of the men asked what was happening ahead. The caller then delivered an emergency message, stating that team number 6 had been wiped out about half an hour ago. Yue Mountain had now been marked for a nuclear strike, and the organization had ordered them to return. Shocked, the man exclaimed that a nuclear strike was madness. He insisted it would be useless against this type of monster and would only drive it more berserk. His entire plan had just gone up in flames. One of the team members turned to leader Yang and asked what they should do now. Yang firmly decided to continue advancing, believing that if they didn't kill the butterfly now, it would become harder next time. The team member hesitated, worrying that the organization might blame them. But Yang insisted that after all the effort they had already put in, backing off now wasn't an option. Just then, a voice on the call informed Yang that the core had already been fired. Another member noticed something strange. The nuclear attack seemed too weak. Suddenly, the mutated butterfly monster began absorbing the nuclear energy. Watching this, Yang realized the creature was no longer at rank 5. It might have even advanced to an unimaginable level. A team member rushed over, asking if they were still going forward. He argued that returning now would lead to massive losses. Yang responded that while they weren't foolish enough to rush into death, they still had to try. At that moment, the butterfly monster completed its evolution and became a rank 7 creature. Observing its movement, Yang deduced that the nuclear energy had triggered its transformation. If it had only evolved to rank 6, they might have had a chance. But now, facing a rank 7, leading everyone into battle would mean leading them to death. He couldn't take that risk. Yang raised his voice and commanded everyone to listen. Based on the current situation, none of their strategies or skills would work. For the safety of the entire team, retreat was the only option. Lumi strongly opposed the idea. She couldn't accept backing down from an opportunity they had waited so long for. But another team member reminded her that risking everyone's life wasn't worth it. Then, someone else spoke up, saying he supported Lumi's determination, but emphasized that they shouldn't advance blindly. Doing so would be suicide. He urged them to follow the leader's plan. Staying alive was more important than money. They needed to survive to enjoy the rewards. Just then, a car approached. Yang noticed and questioned who it was. From the car, Chiang stepped out and mocked the Tiger Roar team for showing cowardice in such a moment. Lumi, surprised and happy to see him, asked why he had come. Chiang replied that he was here for a mission and had officially requested qualification to hunt the butterfly. Yang asked about his identity. Chiang said it didn't matter who he was. What mattered was that he could help them kill the butterfly. Yang asked why he was willing to help. Chiang stated that once the mission was completed, he wanted half of the reward. One of the members questioned what would happen if they failed. Would they die with him? Chiang laughed and clarified that he didn't need them to risk their lives. He only needed them to act as witnesses. Lumi watched him closely, sensing both strength and a hint of arrogance in his demeanor. Chiang moved forward, scanning the area and wondering why the butterfly wasn't visible. He declared it was time to go in and check the situation. Holding something in his hand, he mentally noted that this had to end quickly. As Chiang entered the cave, thoughts raced through his mind. He knew that nuclear energy could accelerate the butterfly's egg production. Normally, after laying eggs, the butterfly should have died. But there was no corpse. That meant the butterfly hadn't died. With no time to waste, he decided to go deeper. He questioned whether the cave could truly hold the butterfly's form. As he expected, things were far from simple. The butterfly had evolved and transformed into a human-like form. No wonder it had once mentioned a success rate. He could sense a human presence. Hiding quietly, Chiang observed the evolved butterfly as it circled a glowing stone at the center. He realized that instead of dying after producing eggs, the butterfly had evolved and become even more dangerous. He needed to be cautious. The butterfly began speaking, revealing that the meteorite-like stone was called the Life Pearl. It was thanks to this pearl that it had survived and evolved. It suspected that Chiang had come for the pearl. Hearing this, Chiang stepped forward and admitted that he thought he had hidden well, but still got discovered, as expected of a high-rank monster. The butterfly mocked his bravery for coming alone and warned him to prepare for death. Chiang made it clear that he had no interest in the stone. He wasn't there for treasure, but to kill the butterfly. With that, he launched an attack using his sword. The butterfly blocked it with her hand and taunted him. She decided to entertain herself with him before her children hatched and questioned why he was so weak. She then counterattacked and pushed Chiang back, slamming him against the cave wall. Getting back on his feet, Chiang realized the butterfly's strength was far beyond that of the insect he had previously faced. Suddenly, the butterfly activated one of her skills. Steel needles, stab. Chiang was startled. It resembled a massive volley of arrows being fired at once. He attempted to dodge, but one of the needles grazed his face. Fortunately, he had already studied the butterfly's abilities in advance. The butterfly attacked again, but Chiang, ready this time, struck back, confident the same trick wouldn't work twice. He aimed to finish it with this move. The butterfly scoffed at his efforts, declaring he was far too weak to kill her. Chiang charged forward with his sword, but her overwhelming power sent him crashing to the ground. He groaned in pain, realizing her strength exceeded all his expectations. 2 of his bones were broken. He knew now he had to take a real risk. With a smirk, Chiang muttered to himself. He wasn't some helpless fly. He was Brother Chiang, and if Chiang were to die from this beating, it would only be because the enemy had never seen what real power looked like. With that, he pushed forward, determined to strike back. Chiang launched a sudden attack and managed to scratch the butterfly's abdomen. Shocked, the butterfly questioned his speed, but Chiang made it clear he wasn't just fast. With a powerful kick, he sent the butterfly sliding across the ground. The butterfly was stunned by his abnormal strength. Without hesitation, Chiang warned her to prepare for death. Realizing the threat, the butterfly admitted she had underestimated him. She decided to activate her full steel armor, confident that he wouldn't be able to kill her now. But Chiang pointed out that her biggest advantage was also her biggest weakness. That heavy armor would only slow her down. In a swift move, he slashed her arm with his sword, leaving her stunned by his strength. Chiang reminded her that he wouldn't have dared to come if he wasn't at least this powerful. Enraged, the butterfly screamed and launched her steel needles stab once more, but Chiang revealed that he had been deliberately forcing her to use her steel needles all along. Blocking the attack with his sword, he repeated that the move was useless against him. He told her to give up, as the moment her steel needles were depleted would be the moment of her death. The butterfly laughed, accusing him of celebrating too early. Chiang began to wonder if she had more abilities left. As she launched a new attack, Chiang relied on his quick speed and dodged it, but the butterfly declared it was too late. She activated a new skill, Butterfly Illusion. Suddenly, Chiang felt something strange happening to him. Meanwhile, the butterfly began to recall a hidden past. When solar energy declined, humans grew greedy and dug into the inner world, triggering the Son of Core plan. This recreated the rules of the world. To reduce energy loss, humans divided the land into 9 ranks and used those ranks to determine who had the right to light. Insects, like many other creatures, were heartlessly abandoned by selfish humans. The butterfly tribe had sacrificed their bright luster and created the butterfly artifact just to survive. They hoped to bask in sunlight again. But when other races learned of its brilliance, they joined forces to seize the artifact. Left with no choice, the artifact was split into 9 life pearls, each handed to the 9 strongest butterfly warriors for protection. Chiang realized that the life pearls served the same purpose as the Earth Core. As the butterflies drew attention from other races, those 9 warriors fled with the pearls in search of safety. The butterfly continued, laughing through her pain. She spoke of hardships, of being hunted and chased endlessly. Yet they had vowed to protect the life pearl at any cost. Still trapped inside the illusion, Chiang watched as the butterfly came close and whispered in his ear. She told him he had fallen into the trap. Within this illusion, he would learn the secrets of the butterfly race. She claimed he should feel honored to die in this way. This was their trump card. Without delay, she stabbed her steel needles deep into Chiang's body. Just as Chiang shouted, the butterfly laughed mockingly, calling him a dumb human. She revealed that what he had seen was merely an illusion, yet he still lost consciousness. She declared this place as his grave. Chiang realized she had talked so much only to set up a sneak attack. The butterfly confirmed it with a smile, saying that his 12 meridians had been struck by her blood thorn. She claimed he would bleed to death, and not even God could save him now. But Chiang pulled the thorns out of his body, admitting that she was cunning but saying these thorns weren't strong enough to kill him. Without hesitation, he attacked the butterfly with her own thorn, piercing it into her body, which left her shocked. As he drove the thorn into her eyes, he told her to feel the pain of her own blood thorn. He added that without eyes, light wouldn't matter to her anymore. He decided it was time to end it. Before dying, the butterfly cursed him. She warned that one day the fantasy butterfly would descend upon the human world, bringing apocalypse. She claimed she wouldn't truly die, as she would exist within the life pearl and watch humans fall into the abyss. As the butterfly died, a glowing stone slowly shrank and dropped to the ground. Chiang took a deep breath, relieved that it was finally over. Sitting down, he reflected on how close the battle had been and was thankful for his early preparation. He removed a steel armor plate from his stomach, realizing the bloodthorn's power was deadly. Without that hidden bone armor, he would have died there. Looking at the stone, he wondered if it was the life pearl the butterfly had mentioned. It had become smaller. Suddenly, the system prompted him, asking if he wanted to proceed with the life pearl's owner recognition ceremony. Chiang accepted. The system then confirmed that the recognition was successful. Chiang looked around and noticed that, aside from the pearl, the butterfly hadn't dropped anything else. He couldn't even see any money. Just then, many insects started hatching from the eggs in the cave. Realizing his mission wasn't over yet, he tore part of his clothing. The strange movement from the insects gave off a bad feeling. He quickly tied one of the thorns to his hand using the torn fabric and rushed into battle. Fighting through the swarm, he declared he had no time to waste and that none of them would leave alive. The scene shifts to the Tiger Roar War Team's camp area, where the team leader asks if they've managed to get any information. A member behind him reports that the signal hasn't recovered, and even the communication device they gave Chiang is unreachable. Another member states that several hours have passed and assumes Chiang is probably already dead. He urges leader Yang to retreat. One of them insists that the boss's aura hasn't disappeared, meaning the enemy is still alive. He warns that staying here would put them in danger. Another suggests sending 2 people to investigate, but someone immediately objects, saying no one would dare go and end up as food for the butterfly. The first member agrees, adding that the butterfly had ranked up after absorbing nuclear energy. Even if their numbers doubled, they still wouldn't stand a chance and should leave quickly. The leader angrily orders everyone to pack up. At that moment, Lumi speaks up, reminding them they promised to wait for Chiang's signal and questions how they can leave now. Another member agrees with her, believing something must have happened to Brother Su. Since he fought for them, leaving now would be inhumane. The leader yells at everyone to stop arguing. He explains they can't assess the current situation and that it's dangerous to stay any longer. He decides not to fight without purpose, to preserve their combatability, and retreat. Lumi expresses her trust in Su Qiangzhou's strength and asks to wait a little longer, hoping the situation might change. But the leader disagrees, stating he doesn't share her trust. He reminds her they've already waited 8 hours and continuing could make things worse for them. Lumi pleads to be allowed to go observe the front line and formally requests permission. One member tells her she's seeking death, but Lumi insists this chance means a lot to her, and she can't give it up so easily. Another warns her that if she remains this stubborn, they'll have no choice but to abandon her. Lumi replies that it wouldn't be the first time they did so. The leader cuts in, instructing his men to give her a vehicle and let her go. As Lumi departs, she thanks the leader. He tells her that he knows everyone owes her, but they can't risk the rest of the team for her. He wishes her good luck. Then, a bespectacled member tells the leader he wants to go with Sister Lumi. The leader allows anyone who wants to go to leave, while instructing the rest to board the vehicles. Inside the vehicle, the bespectacled boy asks Lumi if she thinks Brother Qiang is still holding on. Lumi asks if he's scared. He admits he is, a little. She questions why he came then. He replies that just like her, he doesn't want to miss this chance to rank up. Being the weakest in the team, he knows he must work harder than everyone else or face elimination. Lumi admits she had underestimated him and suggests they work hard together. In her thoughts, she reminds herself that fear isn't an option, even if charging into danger feels reckless. This time, everything depends on whether Brother Qiang can survive. The boy then asks Lumi what she plans to do after ranking up. Lumi answers angrily that she will return to Rank 2 area where her parents are. She needs to go back to their side as soon as possible. The scene shifts to 2 years earlier. Leader Yang informed Lumi that the Shiqua warriors had eliminated 2 of their brothers. If this continued, their team would suffer severe losses. Lumi asked how many people the enemies intended to change this time. The leader replied that they wanted 3, and only 1 spot remained. Lumi wondered if the leader had approached her for that final spot. Leader Yang confirmed that after careful consideration, everyone had agreed Lumi should go. Furious, Lumi shouted that her combat ability was the lowest. She realized the team just wanted to push her down. She also had parents to care for. The leader apologized, explaining that the Tiger Roar team needed to maintain its combat ability. They could only afford to abandon the weaker members. But he promised that if he remained in Rank 2 area, he would take care of her parents. Lumi realized she had been abandoned. Resistance was useless now. As the weakest member, she had no choice but to cooperate. She hoped that at least her parents would be safe. She accepted her fate and asked the leader to take care of her parents. Thinking to herself, she admitted the result was expected. 3 days later, she left for the Rank 1 area. She couldn't cry, because she understood the rules. The only way to protect herself and her family wasn't through tears, but through absolute power. Back in the present, Lumi stared ahead from the vehicle. She saw Qiang sitting amidst a pile of dead insects. Joy lit her face as she waved at him. Qiang waved back and asked if it was just the 2 of them. He said if they had appeared any later, he would have already left. He wanted to know why there were only 2 of them. Looking at the dead insects, Lumi asked if Qiang had really killed them all, including the boss. She was stunned by his strength. The boy with glasses praised Qiang, saying he would forever see him as a hero. Lumi echoed the sentiment, saying she always knew he was strong. But not this strong. Qiang thought to himself that to preserve the team's combat strength, the weakest 2 had clearly been left behind. The Tiger Roar team wasn't strong. In critical moments, they proved to be nothing more than cowards. He told them that he had left the smallest and weakest insect alive. If they killed it, everyone would get rewards and rank up. It was such a good opportunity, yet the leader didn't even show up. Qiang remarked that the leader was being far too polite. The small caterpillar began crying and begged in its own language not to be killed. Lumi couldn't bring herself to do it and asked Qiang to handle it. The boy with glasses drew his knife and stepped forward, but as he looked at the crying caterpillar, he stepped back. He said it was too cute and still just a child. He couldn't go through with it. Qiang scolded them both, saying it was no surprise they had been abandoned. They were too kind. He decided to kill the creature himself. He raised his thorns to strike but froze, unable to deliver the blow. Something inside him resisted. He paused and told the caterpillar that he couldn't let it live. But instead of killing it, he gave it a choice, to end its own life. The caterpillar understood its fate and quietly accepted it. As it began to leave, Lumi asked where it was going. The caterpillar explained that Lumi carried a unique aura. From the moment it saw her, it felt a special connection. Believing its decision was right, the caterpillar transformed from its cocoon into a solid rock-like form. Qiang instructed Lumi to keep the cocoon. She picked it up and held onto it carefully. Next, the focus shifted to the boy with glasses. His rank 3 combat ability had increased to 70%. Overjoyed, he celebrated the unexpected boost and thanked Brother Su, calling himself a big fan. Lumi's rank 3 combat ability also increased, reaching 50%. Meanwhile, the system notified Qiang of his recent achievement. He had eliminated 5 butterflies and thousands of insects. The system asked if he wanted to redeem his reward. Qiang agreed without hesitation.
As the system delivered the reward, Chiang felt he had moved closer to his goal. Just then, a notification came through on Chiang's phone. A transfer of 100 million yuan had been credited to his account. Chiang confirmed their agreement. He would only take half of the total amount. He immediately transferred 25% of the full amount to the glasses-wearing boy's account. The boy, overjoyed, expressed his excitement at receiving so much money, calling Chiang generous. Chiang also transferred 25% of the amount to Lumi's account. Holding the cocoon, Lumi thought she could now finally participate in the Rank 2 challenge competition. Feeling overwhelmed, Lumi told Chiang they had taken so much from him without contributing. She wondered how they could ever repay him. Chiang placed a hand on her shoulder and assured her that repayment wasn't necessary, for now. The boy with glasses laughed and pointed out that Chiang seemed to love both money and women. He admired Chiang's strength and teased that he and Lumi made a good pair. Embarrassed, Lumi dismissed the comment. Chiang quietly expressed his hope. He then reminded them not to mention that he had killed the boss. The boy asked why. Chiang explained that he didn't want others to know about his combat ability yet. Since it was getting late, he told them to head back and left the area. While riding in the vehicle, the boy asked Lumi if she believed the cocoon was still alive. Lumi replied that she trusted it was. She silently reaffirmed her faith in Chiang, knowing she wasn't wrong about him. As Chiang walked away, he reflected on the battle. Besides the life pearl and cocoon, he had also obtained the butterfly thorns. He felt the loot was excellent and decided to hurry back to pick up Brat. Elsewhere, a man from a distance spotted the Tiger Roar team leader. He reported the target's appearance and wondered whether they were returning with loot or had escaped midway. This man was known as Roll Caller. A sudden bomb dropped directly onto the Tiger Roar team's vehicle, causing a massive explosion that flipped it over violently. Team members immediately rushed toward their leader to check on him. Emerging from the wrecked vehicle, the leader assured everyone that he was fine and ordered them to prepare for battle. Another team member warned that the enemy was powerful and they needed to stay alert. But the leader, full of rage, declared that he didn't care who the enemy was. He would kill them. At that moment, Roll Caller appeared. He casually questioned who the leader wanted to kill, stating that he had waited too long and wanted to play with them a little longer. Seeing him, the leader quickly realized that Roll Caller's level was extremely high and wondered what he was planning to do. The leader accused him of the earlier sneak attack. Roll Caller, reading a book, calmly identified them as the Rank 2 Tiger Roar team. He counted their number, 10 members, but noticed one was missing. One of the team members pointed a gun at him and demanded to know who he was. Roll Caller responded with cold confidence. He warned them that those who listened to him would at least get a complete corpse. He didn't mind that there were 10 of them, better than walking away with nothing. He told them to endure it, because the pain would be brief. Another member raised his gun toward Roll Caller, warning the team not to act recklessly because the enemy was extremely dangerous. Despite the caution, one member fired a bullet while shouting that he didn't care who Roll Caller was, he just needed to die. In an instant, Roll Caller sliced the bullet in two with his weapon. Calmly, he asked the man if he wasn't afraid of dying. Then, attacking swiftly with his weapon, Roll Caller reminded them that he had already asked for silence. His strike was merciless. The man was sliced cleanly in half. Witnessing this, the leader was shocked and immediately shouted for everyone to attack together and kill him. All members opened fire at once, but Roll Caller moved with deadly precision. One by one, he took them down, all while taunting them for rushing to die. He declared that they would all perish there that day. As the chaos unfolded, one team member pointed his gun at Roll Caller, warning him not to come any closer. Roll Caller silenced him with a chilling remark. It wasn't that man's turn to die yet, so there was no need to rush. He pointed to the next target, the leader. Without hesitation, Roll Caller launched his weapon at the leader, driving it deep into his chest and following it with a brutal slash across his stomach. Roll Caller asked everyone to quiet down and suggested they continue the party. He then threw his weapon toward two fleeing members. As they tried to escape, one of them was impaled through the body, while the other's leg was slashed open. Seeing this, the injured man panicked, realizing that even the leader had been killed, and he needed to escape quickly. In his desperation, the man fell to the ground and begged for mercy, promising he could offer anything in exchange for his life. Roll Caller, amused, responded that the man probably couldn't offer what he truly wanted. Desperate to survive, the man offered all of his team's resources. But Roll Caller, laughing, slit the man's throat with his weapon and expressed his hatred for cowardly people like him. A short while later, Chiang and his team approached the Tiger Roar team's location in their vehicle. Along the way, they noticed the team's vehicle abandoned on the road. Chiang felt uneasy seeing this and sensed that something was wrong. Their eyes soon landed on the leader's body, and Lumi reacted in shock, unable to believe what had happened. They looked around and saw the corpses of the entire team scattered nearby. Chiang analyzed the sword cuts and concluded that a single person had done all of it with a fast, accurate, and ruthless blade, likely someone at level 8 or higher, a professional killer. Lumi, surprised, noted that the Tiger Roar team itself was a professional group. The idea that someone dared to kill them was disturbing. Chiang assessed the battle scene and deduced that this person had completely overpowered the entire team, proving their immense strength. The glasses-wearing teammate questioned how someone could kill so many people without fearing revenge. Lumi observed that the area was deserted, and in a few hours, insects would consume the bodies, leaving nothing behind.
no one would even discover what happened. Chiang pointed out that the team didn't die at Kuya Mountain, but on their way back, meaning it could easily be reported that they died during a boss battle. Lumi wondered if someone had orchestrated everything. The glasses-wearing teammate admitted he wasn't sure. Lumi speculated whether the incident might be related to nuclear. Concerned, the glasses-wearing teammate asked if that meant they were also in danger. Chiang reassured them there was no need to panic, assuming the killer had already escaped. Still, he advised them to remain cautious and instructed everyone to get on the vehicle. While getting inside, the glasses-wearing teammate asked Lumi about their next destination. Lumi decided they should return to the bar first. As they drove away, Lumi sat in silence, her thoughts consumed by the massacre. Her team was gone, and now no one was left to care for her parents. She knew she had to return quickly and complete the challenge battle. With that resolve, the group left the scene behind. The scene shifts to Guan's office, where he is shocked to learn that their Huxin company has been bought by the Luguang organization. A woman confirms the news, explaining that Luguang is incredibly wealthy and has made a decisive move. Now their new boss is Du Butian. Guan realizes that Boss Du likely plans to make them follow his own agenda.
Just then, Guan receives a call from Manager Pai. Guan jokes that Pai must have forgotten to share some good news. Manager Pai laughs, calling it fate that they've now become colleagues, and considers himself lucky. But Guan, serious, reminds him that Luguang organization spent a massive sum, and that now every signed warrior must obey Boss Du overnight. He questions how they can still consider themselves outstanding. Manager Pai then reveals that Boss Du wishes to invite Guan over for a chat and asks if he has time. Guan agrees without hesitation, noting that Boss Du is already his superior and there's no need for formalities. Manager Pai tells him he'll be waiting. After ending the call, Guan thinks to himself that Du Butian must be a person who takes things seriously, so it's best to meet her directly. The scene transitions to the Luguang organization. Guan arrives, and Manager Pai greets him, noting that it's their first meeting outside the arena and that Guan actually seems quite friendly. Guan feels uneasy from the compliments and says Pai is being overly generous today. Manager Pai replies that they're now on the same side and that Boss Du has invited him to discuss something important. Guan wonders why someone as powerful as Boss Du would want to talk with weaker people like them. But Manager Pai insists he's being too humble and asks him to follow. As they walk through the area, Guan observes the scale of the place. There are warriors from rank 1 to rank 3, and it's far more advanced than any organization he's seen before. He's impressed by the strength of the 4 bodyguards nearby, all likely above level 7 with solid defenses. Finally, they reach Boss Du. Manager Pai informs Du that Guan has arrived. Guan introduces himself and asks the reason for the invitation. To his surprise, Boss Du turns out to be a woman. She points out that Guan was bold enough to reject and ignore her earlier messages. Guan is taken aback to learn that the legendary genius Du Butian is actually a woman. Du explains that in business, only profit matters. No one cares about identity. She then asks if Guan knows about an organization called Bi Yongjin. Guan admits he doesn't. Du explains that this organization is tied to the administration and secretly controlled by someone named Jing Diao. This individual recruits high-ranking warriors to attack those at lower ranks, disrupt order, and earn profits. These elite assassins are known as roll callers. Guan is shocked to hear they target weaker people. Du continues, stating that the roll callers collect intel, wait for low-rank hunters to leave their zones, and then kill them. Their methods are so secretive that they're impossible to trace. Guan questions if this means the ranking resources controlled by the administration are partly being robbed through violence by the Yongjin organization. Du confirms it. The current value of ranking resources is already 100 million yuan, and prices are expected to rise. The profits are substantial. Guan points out that an organization as rich as Luguang shouldn't be concerned about prices. Du agrees they're not bothered by the cost, but explains that the real issue is the disruption of order. This affects their operations. Worse, even her own high-ranking warriors aren't safe and have fallen victim, which enrages her. Guan asks why she doesn't just use her elite warriors. Du explains that the roll callers come from across the globe, many with ties to evil cults. They're bloodthirsty maniacs who kill for fun. Her existing forces aren't enough to handle them. Guan directly asked Boss Du if the Luguang organization purchased their company just to acquire the resources he had in hand. Du clarified that the real reason was to get Suqiang Zhou. Guan disagreed, arguing that Suqiang Zhou was just a kid who relied on raw strength. He believed the boy was only good at taking hits and doubted he could accomplish anything significant. In response, Du turned to Manager Pai and questioned if they were mocking her intelligence. She then instructed him to show Guan the evidence. A large screen displayed footage of Chiang, and Guan was stunned. He thought to himself that such a recording could only be found on the black market, once again proving that there was nothing Du Butian couldn't obtain. Du explained that an injured warrior using only his fists had used Bone Pierce to instantly kill 2 Berserk State Rank 3 tiger beetles. Even her 4 elite bodyguards would struggle to defeat them together. This, she said, clearly highlighted the boy's potential. Guan admitted that even if it were true, Suqiang Zhou couldn't be controlled. The boy had a hot temper, and there was no guarantee he'd be willing to work for Luguang organization. Du made it clear that it was Guan's responsibility to convince him.
Guan hesitated, saying he couldn't make any promises, but Du reminded him that she was now his boss and therefore he must promise. The scene shifted to Guan's home. He sat in thought, wondering how to persuade Chiang. Now that Du Butian was his superior and had promised him 3 million for completing the task, he realized he had no choice. Just then, the brat appeared and cheerfully told Guan he was glad to see him back. Guan responded with a simple confirmation. The brat asked if they could go out and play, mentioning that his brother rarely took him out. Guan realized the method to convince Chiang might lie right in front of him. He agreed to take the brat out for a fun day. In the garden, Guan asked the boy if he was enjoying himself.
The brat smiled and said he was happy. He praised brother Yunqi for being so kind and admitted he had nearly forgotten about the bad memories.
Guan then asked if the brat wanted him to take him out every day. The boy quickly said yes, saying he didn't want to leave and wanted to play every day. Guan thought to himself how clever the boy was, going along with the plan naturally. He gently told the brat that in order for them to play together every day, he would need to convince his brother to join their new company. The brat assured him it would be no problem.
He added that his brother was most afraid of seeing him cry, and if he refused, he'd cry until he agreed.
Guan praised him for being such a good kid and asked what he wanted to eat that night. The brat replied he wanted braised pork ribs. Guan gladly agreed and said he would ask the kitchen lady to prepare it immediately. Suddenly, a tiger beetle burst from beneath the ground. Guan was startled and recognized it immediately, realizing that an insect had invaded the playground. He told the brat not to be scared, assuring him of his presence. At that moment, Guan's bodyguard stepped in, instructing Guan to leave the area with the child while they handled the threat. One of the lady bodyguards quickly took charge, instructing the others not to panic and to follow their training. She planned to draw the beetle's attention while the others attacked it from behind. Drawing her sword, she advanced toward the tiger beetle. Blocking its initial strike, she signaled to another bodyguard to make the move. The second bodyguard responded immediately, stabbing his sword into the beetle's body. The lady bodyguard then ordered another team member to target the beetle's back legs. Following the command, one of the guards attacked the beetle's leg, but it had no effect. Realizing how tough the beetle's shell was, the lady bodyguard instructed her team to distract the insect while she aimed for its belly.
She drove her sword into the beetle's underside, but the creature retaliated fiercely, attacking her with its leg.
Struggling, the lady bodyguard admitted the beetle was too powerful. Its movement speed was unexpectedly fast, much more than they had anticipated. Meanwhile, Guan held the brat in his arms, trying to calm him down. The beetle suddenly turned its attention toward Guan and charged. At the critical moment, Chiang arrived, slicing through the beetle's leg with his sword. Furious, he struck it down in one blow, cutting it cleanly into 2 pieces. Chiang then commented on how things looked miserable in his absence, even when facing a rank 3 tiger beetle. Guan snapped back, saying that if they hadn't been protecting Chiang's little brother, they could have handled the beetle themselves. Seeing his elder brother again, the brat was overjoyed.
Chiang turned to the bodyguards, doubting their capabilities and the effectiveness of the 3 so-called experts they had hired.
The lady bodyguard questioned if Chiang was really the brat's brother and insisted that they could have defeated the beetle even without his help. Chiang replied bluntly, warning her not to take on dangerous jobs if she lacked the strength, as it could easily cost her life. He believed it wasn't worth it. The lady bodyguard snapped back, telling him not to lecture her. Guan stepped in, calming everyone down. He was relieved that no one was seriously hurt. He instructed the team to fill the hole to avoid any more trouble.
Back at Guan's house, Chiang sat with the brat and asked if he had missed him after so many days.
The brat nodded. Chiang pulled his cheek playfully, wondering why he wasn't smiling then. The brat quietly said he didn't want to go home and wished to stay at Big Brother Guan's house. Chiang reacted dramatically, teasing the brat for betraying him so quickly. The brat pleaded, suggesting that if Chiang joined Guan's new company, they could be together every day.
Hearing this, Chiang was surprised and asked about the new company. Guan entered the room and explained that their company had been bought by the Luguang organization.
Chiang, annoyed, recognized the name once again. Guan confirmed it, revealing that their new boss was now Du Butian. Guan informed Chiang about his meeting with Du Butian, where she mentioned the Bi Yongjin organization. That was the general situation. Chiang began to suspect that this organization had killed many people. He wondered if Yang Jiahua and the others had died because of them. Being from a rank 1 area, he and Lumi understood why they weren't targeted, but he couldn't explain what happened to Uga Miao. Guan then shared the 3 conditions Boss Du had proposed if Chiang agreed to join the Luguang organization. First, he must form his own team and act as its leader. Second, his income would be doubled. Third, and most important, he and his little brother would receive the qualification to rank up, which meant they could soon enter Street 2. Guan admitted that no other organization in the rank 1-2 area could offer such conditions. He honestly confessed that the 3rd condition was very tempting. But accepting the offer also meant being restricted by the organization, and he wasn't willing to accept that outcome. Chiang politely declined the offer. Hearing this, the brat again insisted he didn't want to go home and wanted to stay at Big Brother Guan's place. Chiang calmly explained that no matter how big someone else's house was, it could never be their real home. They had to return home. The brat began to cry, upset that he was finally let out only to be locked up again. He refused to go back. Chiang thanked Guan for taking care of Yang Yang during this period and transferred 1 million yuan into Guan's account. Guan asked him not to decide so quickly and to consider the offer. Chiang told him to keep the money and said he would be leaving Guan's company. He added that they could still work together individually in the future. Guan noted that after deducting the deposit, Chiang had overpaid by 500,000 yuan. Chiang explained that the extra amount was a subsidy for Jia Chunyi and the other warriors. In his mind, Guan knew that Su Changzhou couldn't be controlled. He wondered how he would explain this to Boss Du. With that, Chiang and the brat began their journey back home. At the same time, Lumi finally returned to the bar. Elsewhere, Roll Caller received an updated mission. The target was now Liao Hengshun. Smiling, Roll Caller remarked that it was finally his turn. Inside the bar, a lady was singing for the crowd. A man greeted Jiang, mentioning it had been a long time. Jiang asked him to introduce the pretty singer. The man replied that if it made Jiang happy, he could find someone even prettier. Just then, Lumi arrived and told Uncle Liao that she was back. Liao was relieved to see them return safely and asked if the journey went smoothly. Lumi replied that it would take time to explain everything. She then introduced Wu Miao to Liao as a member of the Tiger Roar war team whom he had met before. Miao greeted Liao and said Lumi had been talking about him the entire way back. Liao joked that she must have been scolding him. Miao denied it, saying Lumi only mentioned how Liao never let her work too late, even though he himself always worked through the night. Lumi confirmed it, stating that what she said was true. Liao asked them to enjoy their drinks while he went to handle some things. After he left, Miao commented on how good a boss Liao was. Lumi added that Liao wasn't just a good boss, she treated him like a father. Miao remarked that Rank 1 area was full of danger, and Liao's ability to thrive in such conditions proved he wasn't an ordinary man. Lumi then revealed that Uncle Liao was once a famous high-rank warrior in the past. Uncle Liao looked at them and asked if they were truly high-ranker warriors. Lumi confirmed it, revealing that Uncle Liao was once the leader of the legendary Haoyan team. The Haoyan team had been the pride of Rank 3 area, known as a legendary squad, but they had mysteriously vanished 5 years ago. All major organizations sealed off the news. Lumi had only heard about them through teammates and never imagined Uncle Liao was their leader.
Their disappearance wasn't a mystery, it was a setup. They had been framed.
Lumi began explaining the truth. Years ago, the Haoyan team was the strongest force in the Rank 3 area. Many organizations tried to win them over with offers. In the end, the Yanxi organization succeeded, purchasing the team and granting each member death insurance. If any member died, their family would receive a massive payout. In those days of war, such an offer was rare and bold. But the future unfolded in unexpected ways. During a boss battle, a message came through. In Street 1 area, a Rank 5 start stage red tail centipede had appeared. Haoyan team received the mission and immediately mobilized. Uncle Liao led his entire team, quickly locating the creature and bravely chasing it until it fled into the Green Judgment Rock's cave. Suddenly, the team received a call. Liao picked it up and listened to the order from the organization. They were instructed to enter the cave and eliminate the centipede. Liao expressed concern. The cave's structure was complicated, ideal for sneak attacks, and it was unclear how many centipedes were inside. The risk was too great, but the caller insisted. According to their reliable information, there was only one centipede. The lair was shallow with only one route. The team just needed to charge in and complete the mission. It sounded simple. Still unsure, Liao suggested probing first before taking any action. But the caller pushed back. The rank-up passage would soon close. There was no time. The organization had ordered immediate action. Seeing Liao hesitating, Roger encouraged him to act quickly. He believed the organization's intel couldn't be wrong. Wang Jiayu also supported the idea, eager to finish the job fast and return home in time to celebrate his son's birthday. Both tried to reassure Liao. The insect wasn't powerful. There was no need to be scared. They urged him not to hesitate. Liao finally gave in. He agreed. They would end it quickly. The team ventured into a desolate area where everything was scattered and broken. Liao's teammates asked if they should begin the hunt for the monster.
Liao ordered them to kill it now. But doubts quickly arose. One member pointed out that the command center claimed the lair was shallow with only one route, yet they had walked for a long time and hadn't reached the end. Wang Jiayu noticed something alarming. There was an extra crossroad. The place didn't seem right.
Liao sensed the same and immediately ordered a retreat. But before they could move, the entrance behind them suddenly closed shut. Roger turned to Liao, asking what to do next. Liao instructed them to quickly search for another exit. Suddenly, countless centipedes swarmed from behind. They attacked fiercely, but Liao slashed several with his blade. These weren't ordinary enemies. Their level was high. Liao ordered Wang Jiayu to take 2 others and go bomb the stone door. The rest were to follow him and block the centipedes. Wang Jiayu took Roger and another member and rushed to the other side. Liao commanded the remaining members to hold the centipedes back and stop them from reaching Wang Jiayu's team. He roared with determination. They would fight. They would survive. They would leave alive. Wang Jiayu, while setting the explosives, reminded Roger to hang on. After this, he planned to celebrate his son's birthday. Roger smiled, promising they'd drink together happily afterward. Liao fought with all his strength, slashing centipedes and shouting that they would all leave alive. He promised to join them for drinks. Suddenly, they noticed the centipedes retreating. They were falling back. The team felt hopeful. They thought they had a chance to escape. They could make it out alive. But Liao sensed something was wrong. It was too sudden, too easy. Then, from the shadows, a massive red centipede emerged. As Liao looked at the massive centipede before him, a thought struck him. Wasn't this the same centipede that had escaped earlier? He engaged in combat with it, quickly realizing that the creature's power level was far beyond what the headquarters had reported. It was far stronger than expected. Shouting to his team, he warned them to stay alert. This opponent was too powerful, and it was clear that today's battle would not be easy. He ordered the release of the hooks, instructing everyone to first restrict the centipede's movements. But the red-tailed centipede grew furious. It thrashed about, and Liao yelled for everyone to exert more strength. Together, the team fought the centipede with all their might. In the middle of the chaos, one of the members began to lose hope. He cried out to hold on, but admitted he couldn't pull anymore. His grip loosened, and he fell. The centipede swiftly caught him. As the man screamed for Liao to save him, the centipede devoured him. Watching this unfold, Liao was deeply shaken. Turning to Wang Jiayu, he demanded an update, telling him they couldn't hold on much longer. Wang Jiayu responded, saying he was almost done. At that moment, they blasted through a wall with a bomb, creating an entrance. Liao immediately commanded everyone to retreat. But just as they began to move, countless centipedes emerged, blocking their path. One of the team members panicked, fearing death was inevitable. Liao pushed back against the fear, urging everyone to fight and kill all the monsters. The centipedes kept coming, dragging the team into an increasingly dangerous and hopeless situation. One after another, team members fell. As the battle dragged on, exhaustion took over. The number of dead kept rising, and soon despair began to spread through the remaining members. Enraged by the losses, Liao snapped. Fueled by fury and desperation, he charged at the centipedes alone, vowing to take them all down, even if it meant dying with them. He launched a brutal attack, determined to kill every single one.
Wang Jiayu then stepped in, reminding Liao that they couldn't stay any longer. He pleaded with Liao to escape and asked for one final favor: to help their families. He expressed their gratitude in advance, and without giving Liao a chance to argue, shoved him toward the entrance. Meanwhile, the red high-ranked centipede eat their members and says they are so crunchy.
Wounded and barely escaping, Liao stumbled away from the battlefield, consumed by guilt. He shouted into the silence, calling for Wang Jiayu to retreat, ordering him to respond. But no reply came. He clenched his fists in frustration, furious that things had come to this. He swore to save them and remembered the only hope left, the organization. He reminded himself that if he could contact them, reinforcements might arrive in time. Determined, he vowed that his brothers must hang in there. They had to wait for him. With that resolve, he got into a car and sped off. As he drove, a haunting dream came to him. He saw his entire team alive, speaking as if they'd survived the centipede attack. They joked about fighting with insurance, claiming it made battles easier. One declared that from now on, only Captain Liao must survive to protect their families. Others urged him to run, saying their families would depend on him.
Liao jolted awake to find a young girl, Lumi, standing before him. She cheerfully told him he was in her house, and that her parents had saved him. His injuries were severe and he needed rest. But Liao refused. His only focus was on returning to save his teammates. A flashback followed, taking the story years into the past. A young Lumi had once asked Liao, whom her parents described as a high-ranking warrior, to teach her martial arts once he was free. Liao had smiled and told her that since her family saved him, such a small request was nothing. But he had something important to finish first. Back in the present, Liao rushed to meet his superior. He pleaded with his boss, demanding urgent support from the organization for his team. But instead of support, his boss, Wu Yong'an, coldly responded. He said the organization had been searching for Liao, surprised he came back on his own. Wu Yong'an informed him that 12 of his team members had died. Liao was the only survivor. He then accused Liao of betrayal. According to Wu Yong'an, Liao had blown up the wall and abandoned his team. He labeled Liao a deserter and a murderer. As guards moved to seize him, Wu Yong'an ordered Liao's imprisonment. Liao screamed in rage, demanding to be released. But he was locked away in the organization's prison. At the same time, all contact with his family was lost. Despite everything, Liao's previous acts of kindness had not been forgotten. A young man named Ye Kun, unable to tolerate the injustice, collaborated with insiders to arrange Liao's escape from prison. During the breakout, another young man named Xiao Ye approached Liao. He whispered for him to stay quiet and promised to help. Liao thanked him, promising to repay the favor. Xiao insisted it was he who owed Liao for his past help.
Falling to his knees, Liao pleaded for one more favor. He begged Xiao to take care of his family. He, in turn, would find his fallen comrades' bodies and give them the explanation they deserved. Xiao paused and then told Liao the truth, warning him to prepare himself. He explained that Wu Yong'an had acquired a special drug through black market connections. This drug, when injected into the human body, evolved warriors to shocking power levels. The drugs were cheap and made the users easy to control. Wu Yong'an, wanting full control, planned to dissolve the original team without compensating them. Addicted to gambling, he had lost everything in the casino. In desperation, he created a scheme. He framed Liao, spread false intel, and led the team to their deaths, making Liao the only survivor and the scapegoat. the horrors didn't end there. Wu Yong'an summoned all the team members' parents, locked them away, and lied, claiming the organization would protect them. Instead, he used them as test subjects for his insect-based experiments, elderly, women, and children alike. 3 days later, the scene shifts to the Yan organization, where Liao arrives. A bodyguard confronts him, asking why he's there. Without hesitation, Liao strikes the bodyguard, sending him crashing through the door and landing in front of Chunyong. Shocked and panicked, Chunyong demands to know who dares to storm into the Yan organization. Quickly, he scrambles to gather his money. Bursting inside in fury, Liao declares his intent to kill Chunyong, revealing that everyone outside has already been slaughtered. He throws a sword which pierces directly into Chunyong's hand. Terrified, Chunyong pleads for mercy and offers the money, saying he no longer wants it, but Liao coldly replies that he can take the money with him to the afterlife. By the time Ye Kun arrives at the scene, the Yan organization has been almost entirely wiped out. Even the signed warriors are dead, and Chunyong-an, the organization boss, has had all 4 of his limbs severed. Just then, Xiao rushes in and urges Liao to leave quickly. As he exits, Liao tells him to escape the Rank 3 area too. The money left behind should be enough for him to survive for the rest of his life. Back in the Rank 1 area, little Lumi sees her uncle return and immediately asks if he's all right. Liao assures her he's fine and offers to teach her martial arts, just as she wished. In the present, Lumi reflects on the past. Uncle Liao had returned to Area 1 Street, hiding his identity to live in peace. He began teaching martial arts and spent all his money helping them obtain rank-up qualifications. The bar workers today are mostly orphans taken in by him. Everyone knows he didn't do it for money, but for redemption. Miao, surprised, comments that he never imagined Uncle Liao had such a painful past.
Meanwhile, Chiang walks through the streets, deep in thought. He recalls nearly dying at Kuyua Mountain and feels relieved that Yang Yang is safe. He tells himself to be more cautious going forward. Arriving at his base, Chiang starts checking his rewards. Looking at his system window, he notes that temporary points offer limited strength for 5 minutes, but using too much at once could be problematic. He decides to save those for critical moments and begins adding foundation points instead.
Reflecting on the recent boss fight, he realizes it accelerated his progress. Without it, he would have taken much longer to reach this level. Kill Fire Tower can be upgraded by defeating monsters, but his combat ability still isn't displayed. Most of his past fights were against low-intelligence insects, but this time he battled a humanoid high-rank monster, unlocking bonus effects. He believes that sparring with experts in the future will help improve his skills. After deducting the kill share and Guan Yunqi's commission, he's left with 38 million. Adding his previous earnings, he now has around 40 million yuan. With this, he can ignore his rank and apply for the challenge competition. Despite his combat ability not being visible, he feels confident there won't be any problems. He now turns his focus to processing the 2 bone spurs obtained from the rank 5 butterfly. Using them, Chiang forges a weapon, the bone-pierced Rob Soul sword. He admires its impressive sharpness. Suddenly, Chiang senses the aura of an insect. From beneath the ground, a massive monster bursts out in front of him. Seeing it, Chiang sighs in frustration, realizing he won't be getting any rest just yet. The scene shifted to Chiang, surrounded by a swarm of insects. He fought fiercely, questioning why so many had appeared so suddenly. He suspected they were drawn by the life pearl. Taking advantage of the moment, he decided to test his sword against the horde. Minutes later, Chiang stood victorious over the insect corpses. He admired the strength of his weapon, forged from a high-rank insect, noting the clear difference in power. But the life pearl posed a problem. He couldn't take it home, fearing Yang Yang might be put in danger. He needed a place to hide it.
His eyes fell on a massive god clock nearby. Remembering its ability to conceal aura, he saw it as the perfect spot. Placing the life pearl there would benefit both him and the rank 1 area. He still wondered what the true use of the pearl was, but for now, hiding it came first.
Stretching his arms, Chiang sighed in relief. He was exhausted and decided it was time to head to the bar and relax. The story moved to the bar. A man known as the roll caller entered and asked Lumi about the bar's boss, Liao Hengshun. Lumi responded cautiously, questioning his intentions. Roll caller claimed he wanted to discuss cooperation. Miao informed him that Uncle Liao would return soon and demanded to know what kind of cooperation he was seeking. Suddenly, roll caller struck their bench with a knife, revealing his true intent. He wanted Liao dead.
The bar patrons panicked and began fleeing in fear. Lumi, watching him closely, realized he had come alone to challenge Uncle Liao. She understood the danger and resolved to use her full strength, aiming to end him in a single strike.
She launched an attack. Roll caller scoffed at the weakness of her blow. In a flash, he punched Lumi in the stomach with brutal force, sending her flying and coughing blood. Miao screamed in horror at the sight. Roll caller turned to Miao, identifying him as Wugyo Miao. He said they didn't even deserve to be killed by his knife and ordered them to leave. Just then, Liao arrived, hurling a knife straight at roll caller. He demanded to know where the intruder had come from. Roll caller chuckled. He had been planning to enjoy some liquor while waiting, but Liao had arrived too quickly. Liao coldly stated that his bar welcomed drinkers, not those who came to make trouble. Roll Caller eyed Liao's weapon, calling it unique, but he taunted that it would soon lose its owner. Well guys, that's the end of the video. If you like this video, comment part 2 in the comment section. Also subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and like the video. Thank you for watching and see you next time again.